and 2. We're going to carry on. There's UFC fighting going on at 1 and Van Pelt over there, but we will continue giving you full 100% effort.
And you think, how can you top La Liga, which obviously is Spanish for the Liga? How about the SEC championship game? Because as you know, the SEC, by birthright, has a place in the college football playoff. It's just who's it going to be?
It is
LSU or Georgia. Both of them in the top 4 coming in. Jacob Fromm, good player, quarterback, Georgia. Joe Burrow, an ascendant player. What a year he has had in Baton Rouge. Got his team number 2 in the rankings, unbeaten. Georgia, only 1 loss at home to South Carolina. Burrow, let me just show you right now why I'm a Heisman guy. I can throw it, I can catch it. After I can catch it, I'm going to run. 16 yards. Generally, you don't want to have your quarterback expose himself like that, but this kid's tough.
Boy. That boy, Joe. Run, Joe, run.
I mean, Ed O, when they're winning, he is an amusing act when that happens right there. Burrow, here with time. How much time? Lots of time. Nearly 9 seconds, and eventually finds Jamar Chase.
He's still covered pretty
yards.
well.
He was. Good job. They didn't quite get the rush there. Only went with 3. They took a look at that. I'm not sure why. Maybe it was just to be convinced that that was Burrow's 45th passing touchdown, which breaks the conference single season record held by Drew Lock previously. He threw for 44 in 2017. Burrow, well, let's add to that. There you go. Good throw to Terrence Marshall. Burrow in the first quarter, 9 of 10, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. He threw that pass and then just went to the sideline. Didn't even see his guy catch it. He knew it was good. 14-0. It's now 20-3. Burrow. Watch out for Trayvon Walker, 44. Gets away from him, runs right back at him, loses him again. He's not going to grade out great on film right there, number 44. Meanwhile, Burrow, terrific. Justin Jefferson, get off me! And now the Dogs are running hard trying to chase him down. Eventually, they're going to get him, but by the time it's all done, 71 yards on the play. Burrow. My guess is they'll show that in his highlight package when he's in New York as a Heisman finalist. Good work there. Later in the drive. So Burrow had, 45, 46, 47, 48 touchdown passes this season total. 4 in this game. 28 of 38, 349 yards. That is a different offensive team here under Ed Orgeron this year. Mom and Dad are happy. They should be. Their son is a SEC champion after winning 37-10. Here's Coach O, sans subtitles.
This is a win for our whole organization, for the state of Louisiana, and for LSU, and for everybody that played in the purple and gold. But tonight wasn't our final destination. We know that. We don't know where we're going to go. We don't know who we're going to play. Wherever they tell us to go and whoever they tell us to play, we'll be ready to go.
This is what we worked for. You know, it doesn't come to a surprise to anybody on this field right now. It might come to a surprise to the nation, but we've worked for this. We knew how good we were.
Why are you number 1 in the country?
You know, we'll play anybody anywhere. Send us to Canada, and we'll play on a gravel lot. Doesn't matter to us.
You want to go ahead and say it?
Go Tigers!
College football playoff semifinals December 28th in Tempe and in Atlanta. Manitoba not on the manifest. LSU's 5th win against the AP top 10 team this season, tying Alabama 2015, 1987 Miami, 1943 Notre Dame squad for the most in a single season during the AP poll era, dating back to 1936. The big thing there is on the right. Each team went on to win the national title, and in case you're wondering about the group of 5 right there, Memphis looks like they're going to the Cotton Bowl.
All right, other people played, and it had deep meaning. How about the Big 12 title game? Baylor and Oklahoma. Jalen Hurts goes for 287 and a touchdown. Baylor came back from down 10 in the fourth to force overtime, but Oklahoma would prevail. Oklahoma wins 30-23 in overtime. That's their 5th Big 12 title in a row. But the ACC, Virginia and Clemson just kind of rolled over them. 62 points. Trevor Lawrence, that flowing hockey hair, went for 302, threw for 4 touchdowns. Clemson 62-17, and that's 5 straight ACC titles. The Big Ten, Wisconsin was up big, 14-0, up at the half, 16-point underdog. But Ohio State came back. Jeremy Ruckert, the nice catch. Then K.J. Hill going in. Ohio State wins at 34-21, awaiting the decision about their seeding. Michelle Steele was there and did this interview.
Justin, you were under some duress in the first half. How emotional was it to get this win?
I mean, it was great to see how the team came out in the second half and perform. I think the team all knew that we didn't play up to our potential the first half, so we just sat down at halftime, got all the guys together, and just came together as a team.
This team is becoming known for making some pretty good halftime adjustments. What did Coach Day tell you guys at the half so that you guys were coming out just firing on all cylinders in the third?
I mean, he basically told us the only team that can beat us is us. So I think we came out the second half, played our game, and the scoreboard showed.
Can I ask you, after a win, how much better that knee feels? Does it help that you got this win and the title?
I'm all right now, so I'm good right now. Just going to go back home and get a lot of treatment.
Congratulations, Justin.
Thank you.
Ohio State really just didn't look phased. They were down. They just kept doing little good things. They got back in it. They took the lead. They extended it. So 3 passing touchdowns for him, 40 on the year. Also has 10 rushing touchdowns. He is the 6th FBS quarterback ever to do that. All right, you've seen all the games. What does this even mean?
So now it is all over but the ranking. And that is Heather Dinich's area of expertise. Heather is at a hotel and conference center conveniently located near the DFW airport. Heather, they don't make big word number 4 foam fingers. I have an idea of who it might be. Tell us who's going to get the last spot in the playoff.
Oklahoma should slide right into that spot. It should be a no-brainer for the selection committee because the Sooners took care of business and they got the help they needed. Utah lost in the Pac-12 Conference Championship game. LSU beat Georgia, knocking them out of that spot. And Ohio State also took care of business, eliminating a debate against Wisconsin.
Okay, so that's the easy part. Maybe the more difficult is how do we arrange these 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. How is that going to look come tomorrow at noon?
Well, at number 3, I think Clemson holds strong, undefeated. They won their 8th straight game by at least 30 points. They had a ranked opponent, finally. They beat Virginia, no sign of a letdown there. And I think at number 2, we might see a switch. I think Ohio State might drop down there this week because of what we saw LSU do. Obviously, Ohio State really struggled in the first half against Wisconsin. Meanwhile, LSU completely dominated Georgia, the selection committee's number 4 team, and they played defense, and that was what was under the microscope for that selection committee and had been separating those two for the top spot.
So you're saying LSU's 60 is better than the bad half for Ohio State?
Yes.
Right.
Is that what I'm saying? Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
just to make sure
LSU's convincing win.
Very
yes.
good. Just want to make sure, because the Buckeyes did look horrible in that first half, and you didn't know if that was going to cost them or if it was just the excellence of LSU down there in Atlanta. Hey, I noticed nobody's screaming about an 8-team playoff, right? Like this thing, for all the weeping and gnashing of teeth we have, hey, here are 4 teams, and you and I could have done this. We don't even need a whole committee.
Right. I think that this year was hands down the easiest I've ever seen laid in front of the selection committee. If anything, I would think that this is the kind of season that makes a case to keep it status quo because it shows just how narrow the field really is of those elite teams. But if anybody is ever going to expand this, it's up to the 10 FBS conference commissioners, Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick. And while every year around the national championship they all meet and they kind of talk about it, there's no real strong push for it to actually happen quite yet.
Man, I went down and looked through all those rankings, and if you were to add 4 more, there are like 10 teams that could make a case for that, and it would just be awful. Final thing, Joe Burrow says he's willing to go to Canada to play a game, right? You can confirm for us, Canada is not one of the semifinal spots, correct?
No, Canada is not one of the semifinal spots, but I would think that whoever is number 1, whether it's Ohio State or Clemson, I think they wind up in Atlanta, which might be a little bit easier trip for Joe Burrow.
Yeah, much better with the Peach Bowl. Plus, you go to Canada, you got to have 3 downs, and we don't even want to get into that. That's Heather Dinich. Thanks. We'll see you tomorrow at noon with Reese.
Clemson taking on number 23 Virginia. Clemson and won their last 6 games by 35 or more. Trevor Lawrence trying to make it another. T. Higgins. Oh, nobody wanted him. He's in. 7-0. All right, game's tied at 7 now. Clemson at the 41. Lawrence. Justin Ross to the place of dwelling. 59-yard score. Clemson's out front 14-7. They're just getting going. 17-7 here in the second. Lawrence has to work for this, a bit scrambling around. Still gets it off. It's Higgins. Nice catch and ball on the sideline. Officials review. And we all agree. 1 foot in. It's college. Nice play by Higgins. Move the chains. Next play. Etney's going to get it. The handoff. Breaking free. Found some space. Gets his way in. 7th straight game with a rushing touchdown. Clemson's up 24-7. Lawrence, they're piling on to Higgins. Higgins, ACC championship record, 3 touchdowns in the game. Clemson, 62-17. Kelsey Riggs, talk to someone.
I know everyone is special. What does this one mean to you?
They are all special. You know, I tell them every team's like having a different child. You know, you love them all, and they all have their own personality, their own story, their own journey. But this team, I've probably enjoyed this team as much as any team I've ever coached. They've been a blast. They've just come to work day in and day out. And but I will say this: we're 13-0, 3rd time in the history of our school, and surely they're going to send us somewhere to play after this. We're going to enjoy this one tonight, and then we need everybody to buy some tickets and travel wherever we're going, and let's get ready for the next one.
Oh, I'm sure they will travel well. That's 5 straight ACC championship game wins for Clemson. That's the longest conference championship game-winning streak in college football history. Florida won 4 straight SEC championship games back in the 90s, and Marshall won 4 straight MAC titles.